Let's give all the love you got for Genevieve Franklin.
He sat stolidly about 15 feet away from me. He was slim, strong, dark hair, trim mustache. He was wearing a beautiful blue dress shirt. Fabulous color of blue, I thought. She was sitting behind him on his right, fragile but stoic. She was his victim. I was her voice. I was an interpreter. This was the trial of Arturo Juárez Suárez, charged with killing her husband, his brother, her two beautiful little children, then taking their bodies and throwing them into a pre-dug grave before going to her, dragging her, binding her, and raping her. I came upon the profession of interpreting somewhat by fluke and by fate. But once I discovered that I could be the voice of people whose fates would otherwise be decided by strangers, I just was hooked. Interpreting is a demanding profession. It requires strength of character, a respect for the law, courage to speak out. It requires a discipline of speech, of mind, of body, and spirit. How difficult is it to be an interpreter? If you wanted to be a court interpreter when I was certified, well, any of you here taken the bar exam? Or had some loved ones who have? Probably yes. At the time that I was certified, the bar pass rate was approximately 50%. The pass rate for the interpreter certification test was 3%. I found myself on that day that I'm describing to you in the newly inaugurated Napa County Courthouse. The year was 2001. It was spring. I was interpreting for prosecution witnesses. There were 54, a good number of them were Spanish-speaking. One of my jobs as an interpreter is to interpret obscenities. Bear with me. Am I allowed to respectfully use the F word? All right. Just watch what this 5-foot girl can do. Have you ever noticed what a difference a preposition can make with a certain F word? You can fuck up. You fucked up your test. You can fuck over someone else. You can just fuck around. How about what you can do with a single word fuck, depending on how you intonate it? Fuck. Frustration. Fuck. Who cares? Fuck. Fury. Among other things, central to the state's case regarding the rape or attempted rape was translation obscenities. So, for instance, I had to find the proper translation of the defendant's statement to the victim, whom we'll call N, when he had her tied up and said to her, "Since you weren't willing to go along, now you're fucked." And I have to say this with absolutely no sign of emotion on my part. In addition, when interpreting, audibility can be a real challenge. So, I once heard, "Estás hasta la chingada," as "estás hasta la chingada." Now, those of you who are really sharp and bilingual, tell me what the difference is. There's an S in the middle, but I didn't hear the S. So the first version says, "You're fucking out of your mind," and the other one means, "It's in the fucking sticks." Central to the case was the defendant's state of mind. Are we under pressure? Yes. Is this a test? Yes. There were 3 attorneys on each side because this was a capital murder case. There was the media, and there were law experts on each side. But when I saw a flurry of experts on the defendant's side scurry around, I quickly made a correction. So, I passed my test. The case finished a year later. She went on to lead a new life. He is in San Quentin. He is still wearing a blue shirt. And I am happily, gratefully, humbly, still the voice for the voiceless.